Hello and welcome to the first prediction show of the Championship this season. I'm Craig Savage. With me as always is Mr. Daniel Coye. It is the opening day of the season, 2021-2022 season of the Championship. Oh, it's going to be another tough, long season to predict. We are going to do, obviously, a point system between ourselves. 3 points for the perfect score. If I said Bournemouth to beat West Brom 2-0, it ends 2-0. That is a perfect score, 3 points. If I say Bournemouth to win 2-0 against West Brom and it finishes 2-1 to Bournemouth, it is 1 point. And obviously, it is 0 points if we get it completely utterly wrong. So let's start off with that first game. It is on Friday night. It is Bournemouth versus West Brom, recently relegated. 2 new managers in the hot seat.
Yeah, and I mean, they're two sides that we both, I think, predicted in the top 6. I've got both in the playoffs. You had West Brom as champions, I believe. I think the thing that might be an advantage in this game is that Bournemouth played, obviously, in the Carabao Cup last weekend, whereas obviously West Brom are yet to play their competitive fixtures. And they beat MK Dons 5-0 and looked very good as well. So my perception on Bournemouth has perhaps changed. I thought that it was going to come down to Scott Parker, but I still think it's going to be a tense start to the season. Bournemouth to nick it 2-1 because West Brom, I think, will start slightly slower.
To be honest, I think this is going to be a score draw. I think it's going to be a cagey affair. So I think it'll be a score draw of Championship famous scoreline. It's back again this season. It is 1-1.
Had to start like that, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Let's move on to Saturday. It is Blackburn versus Swansea City at Ewood Park. Russell Martin appointed as the new Swansea head coach. Just a quick thought on that.
Yeah, a brilliant appointment for Swansea. Very similar likeness. It's done a wonderful job at MK and had built a brilliant squad there for this season. So it's going to have a lot of work to do in the last month at Swansea. And actually, as a result of that, Craig, I think they'll start slightly slower because they're going to have to build their team a bit yet. Blackburn haven't signed anyone this summer. Yes, they're a bit short, but at least there's continuity in the squad. And they've still got goal scorers there. So for me, it will be a score draw this one, but I'm going for a big one. I'm going for 2-2. Blackburn were never the best at the back. And Swansea, it's going to take a while for them to settle.
No, I totally agree, to be honest. On Swansea starting slow. Obviously, week before the start of the season, never ideal. Swansea, I don't know what's going on beyond the scenes. It's going to be chaos. But I do think they'll start slow. And I think Blackburn will nick this one 1-0, thanks to Adam Armstrong, who's somehow still at the club at this present time. Anyway, next up, Ashton Gate. It is Bristol City versus promoted Blackpool. Oh, this is going to be a cagey one as well.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about this one because on paper, you would obviously back a Bristol City win. They're an established championship club. Blackpool have come up via the playoffs. They've had less time to prepare for the season. But Blackpool finished last season on fire and Bristol City finished it absolutely atrociously and conceding goals galore as well. So as a result, I'm not going for Bristol City to keep a clean sheet, but I do think they'll nick the game. You know my opinions on Shane Lavery. I think he's an inspired signing for Blackpool. Will be important for them, away from home in particular. But Bristol City just to edge it. 2-1 for me.
Oh, I don't know. This one. I'm actually going to go the other way. I'm going to go same scoreline, but opposite way. I think there'll be more pressure on Bristol City this season because of just how bad they were last season. So, and Nigel Pearson's brought his old colleagues back in from Leicester. So, yeah, I think it's a bit more pressure on that side. Blackpool really pretty much nothing to lose in the every day. Go out and enjoy yourselves. But I think they're going to do it. I think Blackpool are going to win this game 2-1. Up next to the Cardiff City Stadium is Cardiff versus Barnsley. Danny Cody, Cardiff made some really good signings in the summer.
Well, yes, and for those, the spoiler alert, who haven't yet seen our pre-season predictions, I've surprisingly gone for them to win the title, which you can see the full details of in the eye above. But I have to back Cardiff to win. And I think this is a pattern for the day, isn't it? For the first time in a year and a half nearly, we're going to have full houses at home grounds. And there is no surprise to me that almost all of my picks are home wins. So Cardiff are going to win this convincingly for me. Barnsley, new manager, lost their skipper, lost their assistant as well. It's going to be a slow process. They're not going to be ready yet. A lot of their signings have been in the last 2 weeks, so they're going to take a few weeks to gel. Cardiff did their work early. I know Kiefer Moore was at the Euros, but him and James Collins, deadly duo. 3-0 Cardiff, at least one from a set piece.
Yeah, I think I have to go the same way, but with a consolation for Barnsley. I think Cardiff will look strong anyway this season. Barnsley, I totally agree. I think they're going to be a bit slow. But so you never know. Give it luck to everyone, might come around. So, but I think Cardiff will be far too strong for Barnsley. So I'm going to go 3-1. A team who's currently not strong, it is Derby County. They are at home on the opening day. They are playing Huddersfield, two teams that you didn't really rate in the predictions, Cody.
Yeah, I don't think many of us have. Derby, obviously the problems speak for themselves. They haven't got 11 senior pros signed on that can play on Saturday at the moment. If ever Huddersfield are going to address that away form that was a problem most of last season, then this weekend is the game to start off on the right foot. But then the players that Derby are potentially talking about bringing in the next 48 hours, of course, with the embargo, they can only bring free agents in. But we're talking about people like Jack Wilshere that have been linked that can do a job at championship level still. And to be fair to Derby, the 8 or 9 players that have still got their fit are good players. So it's just about building around them. I think this will be one game too soon. Come the second or third week of the season, Derby will be settled more. I'm going big for Huddersfield. I know I might look stupid in 2 days, depending on the signings. 4-1 Huddersfield.
Well, it makes my scoreline a little bit easier. I think that Huddersfield obviously made the changes in the summer. Quite brought about 9 players in, I think now. I think they will win this one game comfortably, but I'm not going to go for 1. I'm going to be a bit more subdued in my prediction. I'm going to go for a 2-0 away win for Huddersfield Town. Up next at the Kenny, it is Luton Town versus Peterborough United. I presume you are going as a season card holder now. Season card, yes. Not a ticket. What are you expecting from Luton?
I'm expecting a solid, steady season. I think we've got young players coming in up front who are going to be inconsistent, and we're going to have to be patient with them and hope there's one in form at all times. I think it will take a few games for Nathan Jones to find his strongest team because a lot of young players, they will take turns to impress in training, surely. Defensively, a little bit of change, but fairly stable. I think he'll go with the traditional back four to start with. I think Luton will edge it, but Peterborough have got a threat. If Johnson Clark-Harris finds form, if Jack Marriott can recapture his old Peterborough form, Peterborough could have a good season. So I don't think Luton keep a clean sheet, but just to edge it by 2-1, because Luton with a home crowd, it will help them more than most other teams in the Championship.
Oh, here we go again. Another season, another game. I can suggest the same scoreline as yours. But I'm not going to go 2-1. I do think Luton win the game. I think just by experience, even though some Luton players that they signed have not really Championship experience, apart from a couple, I still think that overall they will have enough experience to get over the line first season now in the Championship. So they should know how to see a game. They did well last season, seeing out games at 1-0. I know away from home they'll brilliantly score the old goal and finishing it. Peterborough, even though I tipped them to go down, I still expect them to pull some challenge in their relegation fight as well. But I'm going to go 3-1 instead to Luton. Preston versus Hull. Preston had that 5-star performance against nobody at the moment because no one knows who the hell it was.
Yeah, bit of a intrigue. I mean, I've never seen such intrigue over a friendly before, but I think this is probably based on our pre-season prediction. We both said that we expected these two sides to be in the bottom 6. Hull have improved offensively, but defensively they've lost a lot of good players. One of them to Luton, of course. Preston, they've gone for the inexperienced cheap option as a manager. Yes, he's a favourite, but that could be problematic. They did end the season in pretty good form under him, though. And although they've not got the strongest squad, they've still got a decent 11 to start the year. I'm tempted to go for Preston. No, Hull are going to nick it 2-1 on the break, Craig.
I'm going to suggest it's probably going to be the worst game of the week. And there's some good games. And it's not going to be the worst, but I think it's not going to be the best game, in my opinion. I'm not even going to count that 5-0 game because I don't really give a damn about friendlies, to be honest. Friendly pointless.
Don't judge a team's form from pre-season.
Exactly. Judge them from the start of the season. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw for Preston and Hull. London Derby is up next. It's Queen's Park Rangers versus Millwall at the King Prince Foundation Stadium. Millwall look pretty impressive in pre-season as well, as much as QPR.
Yeah, both teams have had a good summer, a good pre-season. I think we've both said we tipped QPR as dark horses for the playoffs. We think they've got the stronger squad of the two. They're always a little bit leaky at the back, and even in pre-season, they've let in the odd goal still. I think they win at home to Millwall. Millwall will make the home ground a fortress again this year, as teams like Luton will, because they've got that fan back in, and it can be an intimidating atmosphere. For me, though, QPR will win this game. Loftus Road, a great ground. Be great to see it bouncing. I'm going to go 3-1 QPR because I think their attacking line is a little more settled.
Normally you have a crazy prediction every week. We watched last season. All right, this is my crazy one. I'm going to go for Desmond 2-2 for this game. I think this will be really an entertaining game, more than anyone would think. So QPR 2 and Millwall 2 for me. Up next is Stoke versus Reading. Michael O'Neill special coming up, or are we going to see Reading actually push further than they were last?
Well, I'm surprised that you said you thought there was going to be a worst game of the weekend before getting to this game, to be brutally honest.
That was second.
I cannot see goals in this. I mean, Reading have only just been cleared to sign players. They've yet to do any work this summer. I can't see them making the playoffs again. They've lost Elise to the Premier League. They've lost Omar Richards to Bayern Munich. Stoke, they look like they're about to bring in Sam Surridge, a target man that suits the style of O'Neill. If they can get Liam Delap in from City on loan as well, they will have a good strike force in a month or two's time. But nothing inspires me for either side at the moment. And as a result, I'm afraid I have to go for 0-0.
I'm going to go for one goal on it, and it's going to be Stoke to nick 1-0 because Stoke on now my favourite side that John Mikel left. So yeah, Stoke to win 1-0 for me. Up next is another form of relegated side. It is Sheffield United. They are playing Birmingham City in the late game on Saturday. Birmingham, once Lee Bowyer came in, they were actually in really good form. Do you think they're going to carry on that good form from back in the last season?
No, quite simply.
Okay, excellent.
Basically, look, if this had been a 3 p.m. kickoff, I'd have probably gone for a quite close game. But Sheffield United under the lights, again, Bramall Lane, I have to keep backing the home sides at the moment because the sides where home support is often vociferous. I mean, we saw with Sheffield United in the Premier League what that can do. And I really have faith that it's going to make an impact here. Sheffield United, they're going to play attacking football under Slaviša Kanovic. They are going to have days that are frustrating. But this one is not going to be one of them. Birmingham have got a little bit of turnaround off the pitch as well. So I'm going to go big, 3-0. I think there's going to be a lot of big home wins this weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Sheffield United to win by 2 goals instead. I just think depends what system to set up because Chris Wilder had that 3 at the back, but then the 2 centre backs will push on higher than the wing backs. So I'll be interested to see how you can play that. But with pretty much a similar squad to last season, I'd say that's why I tipped them to be in the top 2. So 2-0 win for Sheffield United for me. Right, moving on to Sunday at Craven Cottage, it is Fulham. They are playing Middlesbrough. This could be a potential playoff game so early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, I've got this as second v fourth at the end of the season. You had it as third v fourth, I think. So, I mean, this is going to be a really, really tense match. It's going to be close. Middlesbrough away from home last season were pretty poor for the most part, albeit they recovered slightly towards the end of the year. And I just think it's going to be a cagey game between 2 sides expected to be up there. Both will have a bit too much to lose. I'm going to go for the Championship's favourite scoreline for the first time. 11th fixture in.
Yeah, well done. I'm going to sneak. I think Fulham will start slowly. We've got to remember they had a lot of loan players in last season, and Scott Parker pretty much played the loan players the majority of the time, and now they've gone. I think they're going to start slowly. Marcus, obviously, only 2 players in for them. I think they need to do a little bit more come the end of the month. So I think Borough are going to sneak this one, but Warnock's done early business. So 1-0 to Middlesbrough. And the final game of the weekend is Coventry, who returned to Coventry for the first time in a couple of seasons. They are playing Nottingham Forest on Sunday afternoon. Do you think the return of fans at Coventry, do you think that will be the positive thing for them?
It's obviously great to be back in the city, but they've not had the best summer in terms of some of the transfer work's been left a bit late on. There's a couple of positions they haven't replaced key players. So at the weekend for them in their last friendly, Martin Craney came in as a trialist. So he might join before the weekend, which would be good for them. Give them that little bit of versatility and experience at the back. If they can do that, I think they might sneak a victory. The reason is, I said they've improved up front. They've brought Martin Waghorn in as a focal point. I think he's a really good signing. But more so, we all know what Forest's big problem was last year. They could not put the ball in the net. Yes, they've got good strikers. Yes, on their day, if they find form, start the season well, they could be brilliant. But at the moment, they haven't improved a huge amount in the window. I don't think Chris Hughton's been given a strong enough squad to compete with. It's going to be a very tight game. He's going to have to play cautiously. And of the 2, I could probably bank on Coventry being the one to nick a goal. So I think this will be a poor game as well. Coventry, we're going to go for a 1-0 win.
I'm also going to go for Coventry win, but with more goals. I don't expect it to be a great game either, to be honest. But I'm going to go Coventry to nick this one 2-1. Let's have a quick recap what we've predicted for the first match day of the Championship season. Daniel Cody's boldly going for more majority of home wins for fans returning to the stadium opening day. I've gone bold with a couple of 3-1s, Cardiff and for Luton, and a cheeky 2-2 draw between QPR and Millwall. And those are predictions for match day 1. Do you agree with us or disagree with us? Let us know in the comment section. While you're down there, give your predictions of the opening day of the season. While you're down there, give this video a like, subscribe to the Honest Football Podcast, and you can follow us on Twitter at Honest Football Free. I'll see you next time.